Hello YouTube, Film Buff 06 here, and I just thought since this month is the month of ghosts and ghouls, yes, Halloween, anyway, I just thought I'd do a review of the 1994 adaptation of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, which was directed by Sir Kenneth Branagh, and this film was made in the in the wake of the success of Francis Ford Coppola's 1992 adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. However, this film was less successful than that film. I mean, it didn't do. I mean, it literally didn't. It literally did disappointing box office business when it came out, which I almost think is a real shame. Now, to those of you who've probably already read the original novel, probably wouldn't want me to describe the plot. Or those who've watched the original 30s Frankenstein with Boris Karloff, but to those of you who don't know what the classic story of Frankenstein is, it's that Dr. Victor Frankenstein is a mad scientist who is incredibly obsessed with recreating human life. So he decides to play God with science, and creates this monster made out of all kinds of different body parts, hence the famous iconic quote that we all know from the 30s classic. You know, it's alive, it's alive, it's alive. Anyway, once the experiment goes, or unfortunately the experiment goes awry, and the monster that's formed from this experiment runs away, and everyone is terrified of this thing. And once the monster realizes what its creator has done, it vows revenge against its creator, and therefore his family. Now, the original novel has loads and loads of fascinating ideas about how we should use science, and do we have the right to play God with scientific technology, and if misused, if science is misused, what are the tragic consequences? Now this film is let me assure you, is not a remake of is not trying to be a remake of the 1931 Frankenstein. No, it's like Francis Ford Coppola's adaptation of Dracula. This is a literal adaptation of the original 1818 novel written by Mary Shelley. And I have to say, that whilst it may have its occasional flaws, I still think it's a pretty good, pretty enjoyable. This is a pretty good, pretty enjoyable adaptation. Now, Kenneth Branagh directs this film quite efficiently. And the film looks amazing. I mean, the production design is great. The costumes are great. Costume design. The music is great. Production values are absolutely incredible. The actors do a pretty good job in their roles. The actors in this consisting of Branagh himself. Yes, he not only directs this film, he also stars in this film as Dr. Victor Frankenstein. Anyway, Branagh himself, Helena Bonham Carter, Ian Holm, who of course is Bilbo Baggins from Lord of the Rings, John Cleese of Monty Python fame and Fawlty Towers fame, the late Richard Briers, Celia Imrie, and Tom Hulce. They all do a pretty good job with their roles. However, you do get the occasional histrionics and over the top campiness and over the top. Although they do have their moments where they have their histrionics and they're being over the top quite campily, but I think the only really good actor in this is Robert De Niro. Now speaking of him, I mean David Tennant may be, I think, for me, one of my favourite British TV actors of all time. Just in general, for his other roles in like Broadchurch and the like, not just Doctor Who, but in the world of films, one of my favourite movie actors has to be Robert De Niro. I mean, the guy is just fantastic in everything he's in. I mean, from the likes of Midnight Run, Raging Bull, Godfather Part 2, Taxi Driver, King of Comedy, just everything he's in, he's just absolutely fantastic. And he portrays the creature in this, the monster rather. And he does a rather poignant, rather quite sympathetic portrayal of this creature. Unlike Karloff's monster, this guy lets this creature, have a voice. He can speak. He can actually speak rather intelligently. Because the Karloff monster was more childlike, and he didn't have much word, and he didn't have as much dialogue to say as he does in the sequel Bride of Frankenstein. But but Robert De Niro, I don't think, is trying to do an impression of Boris Karloff as the monster. He brings a much more nuanced, much more rich and layered, portrayal to the much more rich and layered, and he brings a bit more depth to the creature, and brings a lot of humanity to the role, and he does a really, really, really good job. Now my special criticism for this, my special criticism of this film is the length, really. That even though this is about 2 hours long, it kind of feels a little bit too long. It kind of drags in places, and one or two scenes should have been cut out. And if you are a serious horror fan or film fan, or actually are in fact a fan of the classic Frankenstein story, I think you should I think you should check this movie. I think you should check this movie out. It's not the most definitive adaptation of the book, but it's quite enjoyable. It's quite entertaining from time to time, and yeah, you should give this movie a good watch. Now, feel free to comment below. Feel free to leave a comment in the section below, and let me know. What your favourite Robert De Niro film is, and which version of the Frankenstein story do you prefer? The novel or the 1931 classic, and let me know if Robert De Niro is your favourite actor as well, and if so, what do you like about him as an actor and as a person, and what are your favourite films of his, and also please feel free to subscribe to my channel, and until my next video, whatever it may be, take care everyone, and happy Halloween for the end of this month. Goodbye.